Well, welcome to the Diplomats and Season 7 main event, Power Selection, better known as the Paris Method. I'm Ed Sullivan, and we're brought to you by diplomacybriefing.com. But in an unusual and rare event, I actually did well this season, so I am not going to be your host of this show. The host of this show will be Wardie and, Lex Luthor, who didn't show up, so he's already stabbed us once. But we are here to run the Power Selection. But before we do, I want to say one word. This season, we're going to play the trophy for Season 7 is in honor of Paula, the Season 2 and Season 3 winner, who unfortunately passed away too young for this world. But he was a legend on Nexus and this main event tournament, winning Seasons 2 and 3. And I think several of us have played with Paula. He was I think the most diplomatic thing to say is tenacious, and was just a fantastic player, although frustrating at times, but his results were undeniable. And we are all very sad to see him go. But Alessandro, our tournament director, has designated that the winner of this season and all future seasons will win the Copa de Paula, the Paula Trophy. And so I'd like to thank you for that. And I will then now turn it over to Alessandro and Wardie to run the Paris Method.
Thank you, Ed. Hello, yes, I am Wardie, or if you want to get Nexus formal, Wardie CJ, and you will see me, invariably losing games of diplomacy on Nexus and beyond. And welcome to the new season of the Diplomats. We are covering the Season 7 Nexus Press Tournament Finals game. And we have the Paris Method here for you today. And in case you don't know what that is, this is a way of the finalists choosing their powers. We have our 7. We will start with the flying boat, work our way up through the seedings from that 7th seed up to Ewok, the number 1 seed. That will determine what order they want to pick their power in. And then we come back down the list in the new order to determine who plays as who. And I'll pass you over to our tournament director, Kudasov or Alessandro.
Hello, I'm Alessandro, the tournament director. First of all, I wanted to compliment all the finalists. It's a really strong roster, and good luck. I'm sure it's going to be a good show. So let's go on with the Paris Method. 7th place doesn't get a choice, so we'll just pass to John Anderson. John Anderson, you want to pick 6th or 7th?
I'll go 6th.
Go 6th. GoHornsGo, Ed Sullivan.
I'll pick 5th.
Choose your place.
5th.
5th. Tarsier.
I think give me the
I'll drop to 5th.
Matthew Crill.
I'll drop to 4th.
Jordan.
Great, I'll pick 1st, and I want France or England.
Second, then.
I think it's time for the Season 7 champion to make his call.
Okay, I'll say 1st.
There you go.
Okay, now that we have the selection order, we just have to select countries. Ewok.
I'll pick France.
France. Jordan.
Take England.
Ed.
I'm already stabbing myself, but I'll pick Germany.
Matthew.
Italy.
Tarsier.
Sure. I've had my fill of Austria. I'll go Russia.
John.
Oh. Karthik, which one would you rather play?
I'm fine either way.
You should read his briefing article. Got a whore.
I must have missed that one. Should have got some insight. Let's go with
John, did you think about this beforehand? It's taking you quite a while.
well, you gave me a little bit of hope at the beginning of it. No, I'll go
It's
with
all psychology.
we'll do turkey.
Ooh, spicy.
Karthik, you got your favorite country.
Yeah, how about that? Did not see that one coming.
Well. So
Okay, so that will conclude the Paris method. Thank you to everybody, and I think we all look forward to a good game.
Ewok, hello, good to meet you sort of face to face.
Yeah, good to meet you as well.
You've managed to get to the final because of being able to better some rather handsome and fantastic press players. Not mentioning
my way
any
in.
names. Congratulations on making it, and indeed being first seed. You decided that you didn't want to drop any places, and you wanted to pick first. Talk us through that, please.
I didn't. Yeah, normally I would. In the past, I've always liked to be third or fourth, just to give me able to see how the landscape is forming up. But for me, this is it's my fourth time doing this, so I want to change things up. I want to do things a little bit differently than the past, just to see how that goes. So yeah, I wanted to take my hard-earned top seed and make something go with it. So we'll see how that works out for me.
You picked France.
I did. Yeah, the last two finals games I was in in the East. So I definitely wanted to be in the West this time. The reason I picked France was in my first season finals, I was France, and I ended up falling short. So this is my chance to do a redo, see if I can do it better this time. And yeah, time will tell.
You gained a couple of friends very, very quickly with Jordan and Ed picking England and Germany respectively immediately after you.
And that also
got kind of crowded there early on.
That also feels very, very familiar, because in season 2, I was also surrounded by Ed and Jordan. And, as mentioned, that didn't work out too well with me in the long run. So
is it going to get better this time then with your neighbors?
I hope so. I really hope so.
Who's one to watch on the opposite side?
I haven't played a lot of players on the opposite side. They all look fantastic. There's not a weak player in this entire group. So they're all ones to watch. If you make it this far, you're one to watch.
Everyone seems pretty eager to get going. Do you think you might be targeted because your holiday has delayed the start of the game?
I don't think I'll be targeted for that reason. I'm sure walking
what
in
reason?
I'm sure walking in with the fresh win on my shoulders is probably going to attract some attention. These first years, people look for any reason to target anybody, and that's as good a one as any. So I'm sure that'll be a very convenient early discussion.
Defending champion is a big target,
Sure.
the biggest you can get. How are you gonna deal with that? What do you have to? Are you gonna have to make some deals, make some concessions? How's your approach?
I'm just going to do what I always do. If I can make it through the first couple years, I find that type of targeting tends to fall away. At the very least, I am the lowest seed when it comes to tiebreakers, so I imagine that has some type of appeal for somebody. But yeah, it tends to go away, and once you get into the thick of the game, it's just not going to matter. It's going to be who's the board leader, who's ruffling feathers, who's breaking deals. And so, yeah, for me, it's just survival in the beginning, and then from there, I'll just do what I do.
Well, we'll all be watching very closely. Best of luck, sir.
Thank you so much.
Jordan Star, or just Jordan to his friends. How are you?
Hey, how are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited to see what havoc will be wreaked on this board.
Yeah, you both.
You decided not to drop any places, and you decided to join Ewok in the West. You were sort of joking about picking first, which you unfortunately not able to do, but you made it clear that you wanted France or England. So given that France was taken, you went for England. Tell us about your thinking there. You prefer the West?
Yeah, so my thinking was, first, I don't care about a tiebreaker because I would be overjoyed to lose to a tiebreaker. That means I hung around and, got to play all the way through. I wanted to say very clearly, I want to be France or England because I wanted Ewok to know where I was going, frankly, so that he could choose to be next to me or not.
A little gamesmanship going on there.
I wanted all of my neighbors to choose to be my neighbors as opposed to being stuck with it. So tried to make my intentions clear, ended up where I expected I would. And, we'll see. I like the players who are nearby and looking forward to starting to talk to them.
Okay, so you had a neighbor chosen for you, as well as you choosing one, I guess. Ed came and joined you guys.
Yeah.
In Germany. It seems an interesting little trio, and one that will be familiar to avid viewers of the Diplomats channel.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We were actually basically neighbors in season 2. Ed was in England, Ewok was in France, and I was in Italy. Didn't go well for me, as none of the finals have. So chance for a little redemption. We'll see. But they're both great players. Either one of them could stab me out of my mind, and that's all part of the fun.
I just refilled my popcorn stash, so that seems quite timely given what we've got going on here. You mentioned there that you've not had the best of luck in finals.
It's been awful.
How do you are we going to see you hang around a little longer than your previous average?
I don't think so, Wardie. I did. It wasn't long ago that I did one of these interviews for, season, what was that? Must have been season 6. And I got the same question. Hey, you've been, crushed finals after finals. Is this one going to be different? And I think I said, yeah. I think I said I learned my lesson, coming in with a different strategy and outlook. And I got, unceremoniously reduced down to 1 by like 1903. And that's okay. I think England's pretty defensible, but so is Turkey. But if anything, I have, any just ounce of optimism and hope has been completely beaten out of me. And so I'm going in numb to any feeling or emotion. And I'm just going to try to enjoy it and have a good time, and try to stick around till 1904.
I don't know if you really believe that. You seem to be trying to work some psychology, and psychology on me. I'm not even playing. We're just here to watch. Who do you think is going to come out on top in the East? Do you think?
Who's going to come out on top? I have no idea. They're all good. I mean, I don't have any predictions for you. Everybody's strong on this board. Everybody topped, in the semifinals. I don't have a clue. Looking forward to chatting with everybody and trying to get a sense of it. But I don't have any predictions. I'm going to roll with the punches and try to enjoy it.
Well, I hope you do, and I'm sure we will as well.
Good. Hey, thanks so much for stepping up and taking the lead on these shows about the finals. It's much appreciated.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But just appreciate you stepping up. I know it takes a ton of time and effort. So thanks very much.
I just bring the beauty, my friends.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Ed, thank you for joining us. Or should I call you GoHornsGo on the Diplomats?
Either one works. You can call me anything as long as you call me not eliminated first.
Well, Germany's had a bit of poor time at late. You hopefully will have a better time in this game. You didn't drop. You stayed where you were in the first half of the Paris method, but Crill and Tarsier both dropped beneath you, and you went in the West knowing that Ewok and Jordan were already there. You know them well. You've been on this channel with them before. You covered the semi-finals with those two. What do we expect in the West?
Well, season 5, Ewok and Jordan were Russia and Turkey, and they fought endlessly. They're two headstrong players, so my thought process was rather simple. They would not be able to get along, and maybe they would each lobby me, but I don't know if that'll work or not. Obviously, this will be interviewed as after spring 1901, but the thought process was it was unlikely to see an EF, but who knows? Could be out first.
They're hoping to exploit their differences. Do you have a favorite to work with as an ally? I mean,
no, I like them both equally. I think they're both really good people and great
all the
players.
powers.
And dangerous. I played with both of them in season 2. Okay, Ewok was France in season 2, and I was England, and we didn't really get along then. But I've come to play with him often since then, and that's all behind us. And I've played with Jordan. He stabbed me brutally, but I like both players. I've learned a lot from both, and I'm very excited to be playing, especially with both of them.
Well, give me a little side prediction here, Ed. I understand that Jordan hasn't got the best record in these finals. How many dots, if any, is he going to finish on?
Oh, I don't know. He'll be in the mix. I mean, my working assumption is 10 supply centers wins. So one of us will be at that number.
Anything you need to bear in mind in the East? There's some great players over there.
I just hope it's messy for as long as possible.
You think Conq might stay alive long enough to make that happen?
He can play a good Austria. So look, everyone is in a country they've done well in the past, and so it'd be curious to see how it shakes out.
Ed, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you very much for joining us, and indeed handing over your entire channel.
Only for you, Wardie.
Apparently.
Only for you.
Hello, Crill, or Matthew Crill, or creator of fantastic diplomacy boards. I have to get that little one slipped in there. Is that one behind you there?
Yeah, it is.
I have to get my hands on one of those at some point, but I'll have to earn some good money first. But it looks very smart. Well done. Thank you very much for putting this out there. Down to business, sir.
Yeah.
You were third seed, and you decided to drop. What was your thinking there?
My thinking was that I was okay with any of those countries in the middle, Germany, Italy, or Russia. And so why not drop down to take advantage of the tiebreakers? And as things wound up, force Ed to decide if he wanted to play in the West or the East.
So putting the ball in his court.
Yeah, why not?
Although by choosing Italy, you do have the option to have a foot in each, I suppose.
Yeah, I like the flexibility that Italy gives you, especially to sit back in the early years and just see how things unfold a little bit. So I'm fine being patient and seeing how things, develop.
Got some great players in the East, but you've also got the defending champion in France on your western border. You got any ideas which way you might be interested in going? Bearing in mind that this is going to be heard.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't have a view of which direction to go at this point. Again, I think that's one of the advantages of Italy is that you don't have to decide that out of the gate. Your opening moves can be pretty neutral. and you don't have to take sides, so to speak, you know, out of the gate. So I like that.
Sorry. Very good. Yeah, I was going to ask because you're in something of a unique position where you played a lot of face-to-face, a lot of virtual, and a lot of press. Do you approach games, different high-profile games in different ways?
But no, I don't think that the format really changes my approach to the game. I do think in the press, right, there's more time to think through your actions and the consequences of different, you know, alliance decisions and those type of things. So I do think that, you know, there's some more thought that has to go into that press style instead of just the quick decision making that you have to do in the other formats. But I've played all three quite a bit and had success in all three formats to different degrees. So I still feel comfortable with this tournament.
Before I let you go, would you like to take this opportunity to apologize for the 17-17 with mass whipping?
No, it was not a good decision.
I feel I won that board by getting eliminated first.
So yeah, not a good decision I made, but I can't escape my past at the same time. So it is what it is.
Excellent. Well, good luck in this game and enjoy. I'm sure we will.
All right. Thank you for doing this.
Take care, Crill. Thank you. Tarsier.
Yeah. Hey, Wardie, how are you?
I'm well. You're human.
I am. Yeah. 100%. I'm
taller than I expected.
Not a primate, not a Tarsier.
And looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I think so. It's been I had taken a big break from diplomacy and kind of getting back into it. It was exciting to make the finals, and I'm playing with at least a couple people I've played with before, but a really tough board. I think this will be fun. I don't expect to stick around long, but I think it'll be fun to enjoy the banter while it lasts.
Why do you say that? Why do you think you're not going to last so long?
Oh, I think that there's some power hitters on here, and I think that I'm still kind of figuring out this community, and except for what I know of a couple players that I have had some experience with, and I maybe know something of their nuances, but it's been a while since I've played them very aggressively. I think that's going to be a weak spot for me, is knowing the trends or the patterns that might mark the regular play of some of the opponents on the board. But fingers crossed, right? And Russia's kind of tough too, figuring out what the opening strategy is, but it gives me a lot of options. So hopefully we link on to something early in the game.
Feels kind of like sink or swim, Russia. Yeah,
I think it is. So let's hope that I can get that front stroke going and stay alive at least till mid game, and just here for the enjoyment of it. It's a great pastime, and win or lose, I'm really feeling fortunate to be a part of this experience.
It'll be great to watch, I'm sure. You mentioned that you've come across a couple of these players in the past. Tell me about your relationship with Ewok. I understand at some point in the past you were a mentor of sorts to him. Taught him how to stab.
It's interesting. I'm glad you've asked, because we've gone full circle on this. It's sort of the student has passed the master, in the sense that when I started diplomacy, and actually when I first got into online diplomacy, I soloed my first 9 games or something. I really only played a game or so before, and I was pretty ruthless. And I played him, and he was another player that pretty new to the game. I mentored him a little bit in the game, and we struck a really great relationship. And I think that's something we're both known for, is enjoyable banter, besides just the plotting and the tactics. And the hard part about that is when you do a stab in those instances, it cuts pretty deep, right? So I stabbed him, and the funny part of that game, and this is really worth knowing, and he knows it too, I tried to call his bluff on. I kind of figured, and he was a little upset with me, or at least pretended to be. I proposed, this is so stupid, but I proposed a draw with him and the other players, pulling myself out to send a message to them that, hey, I'm really in this for the sake of some Care Bear partnership type of win. I really don't expect that he's going to, GSMX was his screen name. I don't think he's going to accept this draw. Well, he and the others did accept it, but they took long enough that I had fought my way and grabbed the very last center I needed for a solo. The same season, they accepted a 6-way draw that didn't include me. So it was a little bit of an ironic ending. So we played, I don't know, we played 7 or 8 games together. He mentioned another one that we played over at WebDip where I got knocked down to one unit that was out in the sea while my last center was being occupied, and fought back and had a good partnership with him. I took the solo there, and that was maybe my last little glory stand before I started fading out. He's gone on to so much good here, and this is a little embarrassing. He might not want me to share this, but maybe you all are. I don't know how many of you have joined the Ewok fan club, but if you pay the premium membership, which I did because I've been watching him from a distance, he does send you the photo. I suspect he autographed everybody's like that, so don't ruin it for me because I'm just trying to convince myself. But when I get this trophy from this game, our new kitchen back here, I'm gonna put it up on one of these shelves along with the picture here, and I'm just building a whole tribute area for Diplomacy. And there's a heavy Ewok influence in our decorating scheme. My wife's already trying to think of ways to tie it into the rest of the room. So
could make a great wallpaper.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, what I'm
So, yeah,
hearing,
we've got a good relationship.
what I'm hearing is that you're Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you've created Darth Vader.
Yeah. He's gone over to the dark side, but that's okay. He's still a nice guy outside of the games. So, and we're close to each other. Okay. We're close to each other on this board, but he and I would both say that in past games, sometimes that's been oil and water. Sometimes it works well. Like with anything, you've got to read the map. You've got to see what's going on, don't you?
Fancy your chances of Sweden then?
Fingers crossed, right? That's going to depend more on Ed than it is maybe on Ewok, except for perhaps his opening moves. So, yeah.
A final thought on your Eastern neighbors.
On the Eastern game, a little bit of a mystery for me. I don't know any of those players other than trying to go in and snoop a little bit in some of their other games. And, the nice thing is that my strategy really doesn't rely too much on that. I just hope that people see the loyalty that I bring to the game, the forthrightness, all of that stuff that I hope contributes to someone in the East or someone in the West, because I'm kind of between two clusters, I feel, seeing that I'm the type of ally that while only one of us can win, can be a good one to get to perhaps the later part of mid-game. And so we'll see what works out there. I don't know what kind of strategy I'm going to have until we all get to chatting.
Well, best of luck. Great to meet you in a format other than just writing on Backstabber. Enjoy the game.
It's good to meet you as well. Thank you guys, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Take care. John Anderson, as I live and breathe.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Looking forward to seeing what shenanigans happen in this game. You got a reaction there when you chose Turkey. You had a choice between Turkey and Austria. You did publicly ask Karthik, the flying boat, what he preferred to play. I didn't hear an answer, so why Turkey?
Well, it's kind of it was between two bad choices for me, really. I don't think I played Austria particularly well, and Turkey is my least favorite country to play. I was hoping to get Italy, but Matthew gobbled it up pretty quick. But
is that your first choice, Italy?
Yeah, that was going to be my first choice. I thought maybe there was a possibility I could get it, because a lot of people generally like to play Austria. So I thought maybe, number 5 would pick Austria, and then that would leave, Turkey and Italy left, and I would snag Italy. So yeah, I was kind of a little taken back, and then kind of seeing how things were going, I thought maybe Spencer would take take Austria and I could snag Russia, that would have been a really good outcome for me. But it kind of, it is what it is. I'm quite intimidated by the other players on this board. And you got a
Impressive
lot of,
looking board.
yeah, you got a lot of really big kind of Nexus heavyweights, and this tournament kind of plays to a lot of my weaknesses, I guess you could say. I don't think I'm, the strongest writer, and I have large blocks of time where I'm unable to communicate. And so seeing names, like Ewok and Jordan and all the others on the board, like, yeah, it's definitely a real stiff competition. So
maybe
might be
a lot of sneaking your phone out of your pocket at times where you should be doing something a little more productive but a little less fun.
Well, I'll have to download a Discord app on my phone if I want to make that happen, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely need to get on top of that.
Yeah, so it might be a quick 3 and out. We'll see.
So, who do you fancy as a friend over there in the East?
Boy, I've never played with Spencer before, and so I have no idea what his play style is, but I've always really liked enjoying getting to know people during the game and on the board. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know him and his play style and seeing what we can do. Karthik, me and him have probably the most history with each other on this board, and so I feel pretty comfortable with him. But I know he is also like super close with Ed, so I kind of don't want to be in between him and Ed in Germany. So maybe pushing him up into Austria is kind of better for me. But maybe we could get something going there. He's always really good to work with. I have a lot of respect for him. And then Matthew, of course, I've only ever played one game with Matthew, and I was Germany.
Virtual?
He was, yeah, it was a virtual game. I was Germany and he was Austria, and like he just ran up to Munich and Berlin on me. So it didn't go over too well. But I'm looking forward to getting to know him and a little bit better, and yeah, I could definitely see myself working with him as well. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. The one thing I don't want to have happen is just all my neighbors run in on me and kill me off, which is always a temptation. And
in that case, you might need a friend in the in the western half of the board.
Right, yeah, and I just don't know. I don't know Ewok and Jordan well enough to what their play styles. I just know that they're excellent players and people have a lot of respect for them, and they're quite dangerous. But Ed, he likes to get these big, massive alliances going. So who knows? Maybe he'll form some Western triple and have a couple allies in the East as well, and just kind of dominate from the center of the board. So I could see Germany having a really good game.
He might be listening. See what he says.
Are you publishing this to all the players? I got to be careful what I'm saying then. So
okay, yeah, yes, everyone will see everyone.
In that case, I enjoy everybody. I respect everybody. I could see myself working with anyone on this board, and I'm a team player. So
I think that's the first stab of the finals.
Yes.
John, great to chat to you properly at long last. Enjoy the game and good luck, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Wardie. Good luck to you as well. Look forward to your play-by-play.
You're going to need it.
Take care.
Arctic Conq.
Yep.
Or sorry, the flying boat?
Yeah, I'm a boat that can fly.
Yeah. Good luck with that. You're not going to get that many boats in the early game, I don't think, flying or not. You seeded 7th, you picked 7th, and you got Austria-Hungary. It sounds like you're pretty happy with that.
Indeed. Austria-Hungary, while not my best country, is probably the one I find the most fun to play. I think it's a really dynamic power that has really, really good boom or bust potential. I tend to get more lucky and go on the boom side, hopefully, here, but we'll see. And when played correctly, and you manage to impress upon others that you can be trusted and faith can be put into you, and by the same token, you manage to convince other people to put that faith into you, and that you can believe them, then you are put into a position that is far stronger than most Austrias are assumed to be in. Because in a lot of cases, Austria simply get ganged up on, or they try to be as defensive as possible, and in doing so, basically ensure their own demise or their failure to match tempo of other powers. But when you can put trust in people and get that trust reciprocated, you can have a really, really strong Austrian game.
So it's going to be quite diplomatically heavy.
Oh, yes. I think any central power is very diplomatically heavy. And this is going to be a really fun game, in my opinion, I think, because Germany, played by Ed Sullivan, Italy, played by Matt Crill, and I mean, hopefully myself, are all players that really like to use the diplomatic game effectively and have all in history been very, very trusting players, very, very pro-alliance players, very low frequency of stabs by any of these players. And well, Wardie, you stabbed me.
Sorry.
Well,
no, I just got a bit of a frog in my throat.
Okay, Wardie. Wardie here is pretending that in every single game we played, he hasn't been the first one to initiate the stab. He's died in almost all of them, but that's just because I beat him.
What?
I love you, Wardie.
Love you too, buddy. And I hope you manage to, avoid like a 0-3 Austrian demise with your sort of diplomatic game.
Yep. For that.
You mentioned the Germany Italian. Are we looking at potential central triple, or are you keeping?
I would personally love that. I think central triples are the strongest alliance in the game, the strongest triple in the game, that is. And here's why. One, it's hard to see coming, right? The death of any alliance is that people know is coming and unite against you. This is the Nexus Season 7 top board. People can see that coming from, most alliances coming from a mile away. It's like, oh, that's a Western triple. Oh, that's an AIR. They can see it in a season or two. It's hard to disguise, because when you try to disguise these types of triples, you generally lose tempo. And that's not something you want to do in a game that is as short as a Nexus game. I mean, 1910 is a stupidly short game. So people will be wanting to move fast and be moving in the same direction for a while. I feel like before, they try to resolve it. But so in my opinion there, the fact that no one knows the central triple is happening until the central triple has basically taken over the board in unison is a really, really nice point in its favor. The second really nice point in its favor is that it feels almost natural in how it works, which kind of plays off of point one. Germany is really, really well situated to work with both Italy and Austria, with Austria to take out Russia, with Italy to take out France. So it really works well for them there. It really works nicely for Italy in that it has the ability to take out Turkey with Austria and France with Germany. And for Austria, it works incredibly well because you basically neuter both parts of the juggernaut, Russia with Germany, Turkey with Italy, and you're left in a really good position there as well. And then I think it's just a matter after all that happens, just a matter of resolving the game, and trying to find who you can work with, out of the other in the triple, if it goes well and far, or if it becomes a dynamic game, well, then you have shifting alliances and who knows what will happen then. But I think central triples promote really interesting games. Yeah.
Well, that was what was semi-final A was supposed to be, and that was blown up in 01. So they always get a plan. Or maybe when I'm involved.
Yeah.
Who knows? If you stay around long enough, you're going to have some, some dealings with probably England or France at some point. It's unlikely that both of those are going to disappear early on. What do you make of those players and their relationship?
I played with Ewok before, or Village Idiot, or Greg Matthews, depending on what you want to call him. I really like playing with them. We had two rough games at DB&I. Both of them were really, really fun and really interesting to play. In the first game with him, I was basically kind of neutered by a sea lion that jumped out at me at the onset. But I was able to become his Janissary, and then even though he tried stab me and take me out of the game a few times, I was able to sort of defend against those betrayals and mount a decent survival attempt with him at the end. And then when Russia and Germany try to throw a 17-17, which is basically them trying to throw solo, if we're being completely honest. Me and him were basically able to trick the potential soloist and then prevent the solo together. So I think that was really, really fun to play with him there. And then the second game, I ended up getting like a 1-center board top over Farron while he was a 1-center survival. So I thought both games with him were really fun. He's a really, really shrewd tactician, really, really shrewd strategist. And as a player I've looked up to for a long time. I mean, because when I first was like playing, like, like I think 2013, somewhere around there, like he was like the #1 player on PlayDip back in that time. So he's just a really, really good player, and it's honestly an honor to be playing with him on this like top board.
Well, you mentioned #1 on PlayDip. I think Jordan is the current holder of that title.
I believe that is correct. Yeah, no, Jordan is also a player. I do not believe I've had the honor of playing with him on WebDip, which I think where he went is Balki, or on any other site. But I would really like to play with him this game. He's another player I've looked up to. Neither of that will change how I really play with them. Obviously, I mean, no matter how good a player is, ultimately speaking, they are still mortal. I mean, it's a diplomacy board. Like, you don't have that much more power by being like an amazing player. You are somewhat limited in what you can and can't do. So yeah, no, I'm really excited to play with them, and I'm not too worried about it.
Well, we'll all be watching with intent, and I've got my popcorn ready. So good luck and enjoy the game. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.